Richard?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Coach. Obviously, a great win, but just tell us about the way you guys won. Game on the line, superstar stepping up, Devin Booker. He's the kind of player that wants to be in these moments.
Yeah, I just told him, I was, that close to calling a timeout, but in those situations, I have to trust him, and I have to trust, the decisions he makes in those situations. I know he wants the shot, and our guys just grew up tonight. We played against a team that possibly could win a championship, and they sent everything at us with George and Kawhi and the physicality, and our guys, took it, and we put ourselves in a position to get a win, and it's an amazing feeling, and yet, I'm already turning the page. I'm getting ready for the next game, and that's the mentality we have to have. I'm glad they're having fun right now in the locker room, but we have to grow in these moments, and I'm looking forward to teaching out of this experience and in this situation. We can enjoy it for a minute, but we got to turn the page. We don't have a lot of time, but I trust his ability to make the pass or the shot. And tonight he made shot after shot, and that last one was pretty cool to watch.
All right, Coach, next up we have Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic. He'll be followed by Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Coach, the Clippers were making a strong push at the end with Kawhi and Paul. What was being said during timeouts as far as, hey, hang in? I mean, what was the dialogue during those times when the Clippers were making those runs?
Yeah, we know everybody's seen those guys come through in the clutch. I mean, I've been in San Antonio and watched Kawhi do it, and we've watched Paul do it. We've seen Doc on those sidelines, and so you're up against a lot. And it was just one of those situations where every timeout, pretty much by the time I got to the timeout, the players had already talked themselves through our languages and our reads in defensive situations. We don't want to give up and ones. We wanted to force those guys to make tough shots, and they did. There was moments in the second half where Paul was splitting our pick and roll and getting to the basket, and he was getting to the free throw line. That always hurts you because they can set their defense, but I thought the shots that they got tonight were pretty tough shots. One time Kawhi got an offensive rebound over Cam, and it was just a tough physical playoff play. And I'm hopeful that Cam will grow from that situation. But we didn't say anything new. We just said we can't foul and give up and ones. We can't lose our discipline on pump fakes. And I thought our guys did a good job with that.
All right, next up is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports. He'll be followed by Gina Mizell. Go ahead with your question, Kellen.
Monty, Devin's been working so hard to just earn respect and just put this team in the right place he belongs. The All-Star game was one of those slights, of course, but I know it's just one shot in one moment, but how does it feel for you to see him kind of get that kind of moment in a game like this?
I'm happy for him. I am, but he'd be the first one to tell you we're not done. Like, we got more work to do. We're not going to rest in this moment. It'll be fun for the next 20 minutes, but I guarantee you he's already getting his mind right for the next game. And we have a saying that everything counts, and how we appreciate but also handle these situations will dictate how we play in the next outing, and it'll help our guys grow. So I'm ecstatic for him. I'm happy for the work that he puts in his game, the way he's grown as a leader, the way he and I have connected. But this is booked, and he puts a lot of work into his game, and he's serious about his craft, and he has these moments in his ability. He's not afraid of it, and I'm just thankful that he knocked that one down tonight.
All right, next up we will have Joe Varden with The Athletic, and he'll be followed by Gina Mizell. Go ahead, Joe.
You're a star like Booker, obviously. I'm thinking about a guy like Cameron Payne.
Yeah.
But bouncing around and playing major minutes and games you have to have. Just how does a guy like that kind of make you feel about your team overall?
I mean, again, it's sometimes it just takes you a minute to find a fit for you, and then you have to also have enough humility and be vulnerable about, what you did in your past that didn't allow you to succeed. He's been pretty upfront about that in our private discussions, and so he's trying to make the most of his opportunities. He would tell you that he's not where he wants to be. At the same time, these are the kinds of experiences you want to have with players. I was with him in OKC where it didn't work out. Now he's a big part of our team, and there's no way he knew 2 months ago that he'd be in this situation. So that's why young players and NBA players in general, when they come into this league, you just got to keep working, and that's what he's done. So he's a big part of that second unit. He has the ability to play with both.
In a day like today, against a team like the Clippers, does that change the conversation for what would be possible for you here?
No, our focus is the same. We came into this thing with a level of gratefulness and humility that we were even in this, and we got to hold on to them. We know that we're not an upper echelon team in a consistent way. And so these are like I said before, these are the times where you have to manage your excitement and the fun, because that's what the really good teams do. And so we got to keep the same mentality. We said we wanted to get better, and we were just going to attack this thing every day. And so the most important thing we have is our next film session, which will happen tomorrow. And how we approach that will help us in the next game.
All right, Coach. Next up is Gina Mizell. She'll be followed with the last question from Ferdinand Rivera with La Guerra de la NBA. Go ahead, Gina.
Hey, Monty. On Sunday, you mentioned that being in that type of situation, that's exactly why you wanted to be in the bubble. Are there lessons or things from that game that you feel like you could immediately apply today, or that you immediately saw today, just kind of being in a similar down-to-the-wire game against a good team?
Yeah, I mean, the ability to pull it out is really cool, and we're thankful to be on this side of it. But you can talk to guys all day about the situation. Tell guys like Cam and Mikhail experience it. It's just hard to know what coaches are talking about. The physicality, dealing with calls that don't go your way, watching guys like Kawhi and Paul George just make shot after shot and play after play, and they make it look so effortless. They can only learn from being in those situations. And so that's the stuff that I believe will help us grow as a program. Those guys are going to grow up exponentially faster than they would have just sitting at home. And so we're thankful for these experiences, and we want to stay on this side of it. I mean, to be able to win in this environment is pretty cool. And so I'm thankful for that.
All right, Coach, our final question comes from Ferdinand Rivera with La Guerra de la NBA in Puerto Rico. Go ahead, Ferdinand.
Hey, Coach. How do you see the hopes of reaching the playoffs after this great victory? And talk about how Ricky Rubio makes his impact on the team.
So you're Nick Ferdinand?
How do you see the hopes of reaching the playoffs after this victory? And can you talk about Ricky Rubio and his impact on the team?
Yeah, we're going to our next thought process is tomorrow's film session. That's the way we've done everything here. We don't want anything to change our culture. So if we win by 20, win by 2, whatever the case may be, we want to be able to come in and approach the next day the same way we always do, with a bit of gratefulness, humility, and get ready for the next thing. And that, to me, is what pros do. So that's my mindset. And then as far as Ricky, he's the engine for us. He's got so many experiences. We've heard Ricky's name for, it seems like 20 years, because he's been around for a long time, and he makes everybody on our team better. I'm grateful that we have him, and it's good to have moments like this with Ricky because he's a good dude, and he makes us a better team.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Coach.
Thank you.